Hey everybody, it's your girl Jessica with Cooking with a Twist 99. Today we are making homemade biscuits and they're so easy to make and anyone can do this. It's really simple. You're going to get a glass bowl. You're going to get 2 cups of flour. We're going to sift it into our sifter like we have here. You're going to place it over your bowl and we're going to add our first cup of flour is going in. You want to make sure to level out your flour each cup that you use. You don't want to add too much and you don't want to add too little. You want to be really perfect when you're baking. Baking is something that I don't do often, but my friend Tracy, this one is for you. So we got our first cup, our second cup in. And next, we are going to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder. It's going to go in. Next, you want to make sure you level that out also. Everything that you're putting into your baking, you want to make sure everything gets leveled out. That's with your flour, your baking soda, baking powder, whatever you're using. And next we're going to do is that we're going to sift it into our large mixing bowl. This prevents any lumps going into your flour mixture. You don't want any type of chunks of flour. You want it all nice and sifted. You don't want to have any hard pieces of flour going into your bowl. And we're almost done. And look, see, we have little nuggets there. So those are going to be put to the side. We're not going to add those into our bowl. I'm going to move this stuff out of my way. We're going to get 1 stick of cold butter. It's salted butter, not unsalted. You want to make sure you use salted butter to go into this mixture. And you're going to use an easy tool. You're going to get yourself a grater and you're going to grate your butter over your flour mixture. You take the stick and you're just going to go back and forth on your grater very nice and easily. You don't want to do it too hard because you don't want the stick to break on you. And you're just going to go back and forth just like I'm doing here. It's kind of cool how this looks, guys. It looks like little spaghetti strings. Look, it's so cool. Now we are going to take our fork and we're going to get the rest of it off. We're going to scrape it into our bowl. You want to get every inch of that butter in there. Next, you can take your hands for this part. I'm using my fork and we are going to incorporate the butter into our flour mixture. I'm going to get it all nice in there, incorporated. You want to mix it until the batter starts to crumble some. Doesn't need to be all the way crumbled, but most of it needs to be like a crumble. And I'm adding just a little bit more butter because I'm not down yet to a half a stick yet. I'm almost there. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to take my fork and scrape off the rest like I did before. Put that in there. I'm going to give it a nice mix again. All right, we're ready for our next step. Our next step is what we're going to do here is that we're going to add 1 cup of cold milk. I'm going to pour that in. And now it's time to make the dough. So we're going to get that milk nice incorporated into our flour mixture until it starts to form a little bit of a dough ball. And you don't want to overmix here, guys, because we're going to be kneading our dough once we bring it out of our mixing bowl. Want to get it all nice incorporated in there. You want to make sure the milk, all the flour, scrape the bottom of your bowl. Want to make sure that all the flour is nice and incorporated. Next, you want to take some flour, and I'm going to get this out of my way first and get my goodies over there. All right. Now, is what we're going to do next, guys, is that we're going to take some flour and we are going to dust our countertop with flour. This is going to prevent the dough from sticking onto your counter. You also want to make sure you get some flour onto your hands. That way the dough doesn't stick to your hands and it stays on the dough. Now we're going to take our bowl and we're going to put that onto our countertop. Scrape anything from the bowl onto the dough. And now we're going to knead the dough until it forms a nice ball. And then you're going to take your hands and you're going to pat it out to about 1/4 of an inch thick. You want them a little bit thick because you want them to make sure that they're going to rise enough for you. You don't want them too thin, but just thick enough. And we're just forming our dough here. We're almost ready to give it a nice pat. Now, if you have a roller, you can roll the dough out, or you can use the back of the hand, your palm of your hand. You're going to press it out. Pat it out to the thickness that you like. Make sure that you get all the loose ends and you incorporate it into your dough to make sure that you got everything that was in your bowl inside the dough. I'm just giving it a nice pat out to the thickness that I like. And next, I'm going to grab a cup. All right, you're going to take your cup and you're going to just the lip of your cup, you're going to add flour to it so that way you can and then we're going to spray our baking sheet with butter spray. And then we're going to take our cup and we're going to start cutting these out. This should make 8 biscuits. This is a really easy, fun recipe that you guys can make at any given time. It doesn't take that long. It takes about 10 minutes to make these from start to finish. You want to make sure that you spray your baking sheet and that you put your oven on 400 degrees. These are going to bake for about 12 minutes. A little tip, once the 12 minutes is up, you want to take them out and just brush them with some melted butter on the top. Put them back in your oven for about 3 to 5 minutes. You just want the top of your biscuits to be brown. We are patting these out a little bit more. When you are done cutting all of your circles, you're going to form a ball again and then pat it back out again to cut the rest of your biscuits. I have about 6 here. I'm going for 2 more. So I'm rolling my dough again. I am collecting any excess flour that is left. I'm adding it to the ball and I'm patting it back out with the palm of my hand, or you can use a roller. All right, I'm going back in, cutting another one in. All right, we got 7, Let's see if I can get one more out of this. All right, patting it out with the back of my palm again. Going back in with my cup, cutting another one out. All right, we have 8. Like I said, these are going to go in the oven on 400 degrees for 12 minutes, and I'll show you guys the finishing product once it comes out. Homemade sausage gravy to go with the biscuits. Alright guys, it's time to serve up. Look at that rich sausage gravy. Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm going to do my husband's plate first. He likes eggs on top of his biscuits. And then we hit it with a nice rich gravy. And now we're going to do my plate. I like mine on the side. And there we have it, guys. Sunday breakfast